The amount of resources you can farm on Astraeos is just stupid. In this video, I will show you several farming methods that are so good they feel like cheating. Hello Dodo crew and welcome back for another video on Ark Survival Ascended. Grab a bottle of water and let's get straight into it. It's just dumb how much element you can farm in a single run on Astraeos. Since Astraeos combines different maps in one, it has two new ways on how you can farm element with ease. The single best way to farm huge amounts of element is to defend and harvest the element nodes, which is a temporary harvestable structure. Depending on the difficulty of the element node, you can farm a stupid amount of element by just finishing a single node. The main element node gives a stupid amount of element and element shards. Element nodes only spawn on the lava island in the bottom right corner and have predefined spawns. They share these spawns with OSDs and only a fixed number of OSDs and nodes can be active on the map at the same time. On this picture, made by Greenlight, you can see the most important resources, creatures and much more information. Before we go any further, please do me a favor, like and subscribe. Bosses drop way more element on Astraeos than on any other map. It is now hilariously easy to farm all the artifacts you need and the bosses are way easier than on any other map. At least the Widowmaker on Gamma. But that's all we need. To start Widowmaker on Gamma, just 3 artifacts are needed and the boss gives 200 element at the end. Currently, Widowmaker is probably the easiest boss in the whole game. And the 200 element are just ridiculous compared to how easy the boss is. Just don't try the Medusa boss. This one is crazy strong and gives less element than the troll. If you want to know how to solo element nodes and farm an insane amount of element, check out the linked video. At the current time, there is no better map to farm organic polymer, honey and to get bees than Astraeos. Both organic polymer and honey can be easily farmed in the bee cave by shredding beehives with a chainsaw. The cave is located on the west side of the first island in a wall of the mountain above the cherry blossom forest. The best way to get poly and honey is to grab a bear, pyromane or any other creature that can withstand a little damage and can enter the cave. Then kill all the scorpions, bees and spiders and use the chainsaw to farm the beehives hanging on the wall. After just a few hives, you're probably capped with honey and organic polymer. But be careful, the spot is simply too strong, especially in PvP, so tribes will regularly try to claim the spot for themselves. If the bee cave is claimed, there's a second method of obtaining at least organic polymer. In the top left corner of the map, there are 2 small lakes filled with penguins. Almost every time you enter this area, loads of penguins spawn there. This means that you simply take a duck and fly through the area, killing and eating all the penguins. The younger the penguins are, the more polymer you get. A big advantage of farming in this region is that you can find and tame otters quite easily in these lakes, which means you can get a lot of artifacts quite early in the game. The bee cave is hands down the best spot to farm chitin, because every other cave simply sucks in terms of depth. Most of them are just too big and creature spawns are too far apart to efficiently farm chitin. If you're playing on a cluster, I recommend farming chitin, keratin and cementing paste on every other map except Astraeos. At least for now. Who knows what will come in the future. I mean, this map is only 30% complete. The best and only way to farm at least a little bit of cementing paste are the beaver dams on the left side of the map. With just a little bit of luck, you will find giant beaver dams in the rivers, which usually give more cement than the regular dams that you can find on other maps. If you follow the river from the mountain towards the ocean, you should find a handful of these dams and get a decent amount of cementing paste. Getting zep is pretty easy on Astraeos. Corinthus has an area by the river that is basically a redwood, except that in this area there are small brown trees that you can cut down with a chainsaw to get sap. With a good chainsaw, you can get an insane amount of sap in just a few minutes by cutting down those trees. The second best option is to find a good chainsaw and harvest cactus in the desert-like region. While harvesting cactus similar to scorched earth and grinding it down, you can get a ton of sap in a short time. And if you want to know the best way to get the overpowered chainsaws and loot on Astraeos, check out my next video. The best place to find plant species eggs is the swamp in the northern part of Corinthos. This is literally the only spot where the plant grows on Astraeos. There are plant eggs everywhere in this region and you can just go there and pick them up, but be careful, this region is quite small and Rhinios spawn there regularly. Plant species Y can be farmed from these fancy looking plants along the rivers. At the same time, these plants also drop silk. The best way to farm these plants is with a ferricino and delicate harvesting. Rare flowers can be farmed in the same region. The best way to do this is to simply farm the blue flowers with a ferricino. These only give rare flowers and your ferricino is slot capped with rare flowers after a short time, even at low rates. There is not the one spot for metal, flint and stone. It doesn't matter where you go, you will find loads of metal and stone everywhere. The only thing you can't do at the moment is throw out a Karki, as there are and will be no aberration creatures on Astraeos. Meaning, you're pretty much stuck with an Archie, Quetz or Dunkleo if you're farming one of those resources. If you want to farm the most in one run, the Volcano is probably the best place to farm as it has the largest amount of metal rocks in one place. As soon as you've got a Faso, Scorched Earth is also done, because the amount of rocks lying around on Astraeos is just stupid. At some spots there are simply hundreds of stones in one single pile, and if you ride through there with a Faso, you're slot capped pretty much instantly. Astraeos has a Wyvern Trench, where not only Sulfur spawns on the ground, but also Wyvern eggs spawn in the walls. There is not much to say. You can farm them with a pickaxe or an Anki, but you have to watch out for the wyverns as they fly around in this area. Other than that, it's pretty easy to farm this stuff. If you farm pearls on any other map, it's your own fault. There is no better map to farm any type of pearls than Astraeos. Both Silica and black pearls spawn almost everywhere underwater and can be easily farmed with an angler. In the center of the ocean is a location where these giant clams are. These are buildable. They are pretty hard to defend, but you will need one during your next wipe. You simply build a vault, teleporter or transmitter in them and farm your pearls directly around these shells. There are so many silica and black pearls spawning in this area that you really feel bad when you know that there are people farming somewhere else. Unlike on the other maps, these shells that give pearls are not hidden on the ground but hanging on the walls and can be spotted so much easier. These glow either blue, which are silica pearls, or in purple, which give black pearls. For the first time in a while, it's worth to get a really good angler, because having the best possible angler you can get is the only way to farm all the pearls around those walls. The best way to get oil early are the washed up sharks at Corinthos South Beach. If you farm these with a pickaxe, you will get a large amount of oil and spoiled meat, which means that you no longer have to split meat in your inventory. In the late game, it is best to set up a few oil pumps in the northern part of the map. Similar to Scorched Earth, there are oil fields that simply produce oil passively over time. Okay, now it's getting wild. With Astraeos, you can now farm wood underwater for the first time. And it's just stupid how much wood you can get from the mushrooms on the walls with a Dunkleo. In less than 5 minutes, I had slot capped my Dunkleo and had so much wood that I didn't know where to put it. The best region to farm wood is the shells in the middle of the ocean, as you can easily set up forges, teleporters or transmitters in them. The best part is yet to come. Currently, there is not a single creature spawning in this region that can harm you or your Dunkleo apart from a few jellyfish. In the same region, you can also farm Bio Toxin, as there are jellyfish almost everywhere in this region. Astraeos has 2 farms, where you can find and pick up crops, such as Savoroot, Longrass, Citronal and Rockarrot. The first farm is in the top left corner of the map at about 4 lat and 10 long. It is much smaller than the other farm, but it can be found very early on. The second farm is much larger. It is located at about 16 lat and 30 long in the center of Fukintos. Just use a whip or a ferricino and you should get a decent amount of crops to craft kibble and other food. Obsidian and crystal are the easiest on Astraeos because this stuff is just everywhere. It simply doesn't matter where you farm it. There is for real only one way to get hide on Astraeos: Ovis. At the bottom right corner of the map there is a small island on which literally nothing but Ovis spawns. This means that it has never been easier to get a sheep than on Astraeos, as sheeps with babies spawn here at literally any time and you simply have to claim the sheep. Then you get a chainsaw, level the sheep in hell for the best yield, and then you simply farm all the hide you need. I hope you liked this video and I'm thrilled to read if this video has helped you. Hit the like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm and consider subbing to the channel. Alright, Frodo.